All right, so two restaurants today, both East Village. One of them is a remake. It opened as Goat Town maybe 6-7 years ago, closed, reopened after a demolition and a redo as a really great casual restaurant that's kind of an homage to New York pizza. They got round pies, square pies, they're great. Chefs from Staten Island, worked all over the States, worked all over New York. Food's great, I love this place. Super affordable, super approachable, delicious. The second place is brand spanking new. They've been open 3 weeks. I guess we're the first people in there. Two chefs I've known for years. They worked for Alan Stillman at Quality Meats, Quality Italian, husband-wife team. But to find this restaurant's kind of hard because they don't have an address, a phone number, or a sign. You walk into a bar off of Avenue A, go all the way to the back of the bar, through some curtains, press a buzzer, and if you're lucky, they've got a seat for you. They've only got 18 seats. It's called Dinner Table, and it's amazing. Everything from scratch, a young couple living their dream. That's today's show, and it's going to be fun. I'm Mike Colameco, industry insider. Been in the business my whole life, and I know what it takes to succeed. Each week, we'll take you into real kitchens, filmed in real time. Backstage passes to a day in the life of chefs, restaurateurs, and their teams. The competition's fierce. Careers, life savings, and reputations hang in the balance. These are my people, and this is their passion. And that's what's next on Mike Colameco's Real Food. Mike Colameco's Real Food is brought to you by the continuous, generous support of the following underwriters.
Extra virgin olive oil from Colavita, an Italian family brand.
Rachel Ray's signature specialty food line, designed for preparing meals at home.
Scott and Angie, man, congratulations.
Thanks, Mike.
So I've known you guys since like the Quality days.
Yes.
Craig Kaketsu and I are kind of friends. We have Delouvrier as our mentor. Craig's a great chef, just super technical guy. And we did the show with you years back at Quality Meats.
Yes.
You opened Quality Italian.
Correct. Yep.
You were there for how many years?
We opened the restaurant. We were there for 2.5 years.
And you worked together?
Yeah.
For how many
I
years?
was the chef de cuisine there. He was the executive chef, and so from the opening, I was there.
And that's where you guys met?
No, we met.
You worked before, I mean.
Yeah, we met at
Years ago at the old Park Avenue.
Yeah.
I was a line cook and Angie was a server, actually.
Yeah.
No way.
It was like right before I decided I wanted to start cooking.
You were one of them?
Yeah.
A front of the house person? Not that.
I don't tell too many people.
Jeez, make all the money and show up at 4? We don't like you.
But here we're kind of doing both. We're doing
Right.
Well, so this is crazy. We should establish this too. You guys are a married couple.
Correct.
The face of this to the public is
206
Avenue A.
Avenue A.
Yep.
Just between
12th and 13th.
12th and
Right,
13th.
yes.
And the name of the bar is the Garret. So you go into the bar, which is a beautiful full-on bar. You go to the back, swing through a curtain, and you have to press a buzzer. Like the opposite of BDT.
Yeah, people call it a reverse speakeasy. I don't know what it is. It's just a small little restaurant in the back of a bar. That's what I call it.
His own little entrance to get in.
And it's supposed to be like you're eating in someone's house and feel that way.
Dinner Table, name of the restaurant. So you took this big leap of faith. You were working for this really big corporation. You're getting paid, benefits, I'm assuming, all the good stuff.
Yep.
And it's like, okay, let's bail and open up a 18-seat restaurant in the back of a bar that doesn't have a sign or a phone number.
Yeah, exactly.
Explain this to me.
You know what it is, Mike? Like, we got so far removed from cooking. That's why we cook, because we love food and we love to cook and we love to feed people. So here we're cooking every single day. Like,
I know.
8 in the morning we're
All
here,
day.
but it's great and we get to talk to the people and interact with them and see their
Experiencing
reactions.
our food.
And it's why we love cooking.
So, tell me about this dish. The pasta sheets you're making by hand, egg pasta?
You're right, egg pasta, 2 different kinds of flour. It's the 00 and it's a Durham flour. We sheet it out and then we do a layer of a bechamel, Parmesan Reggiano, mozzarella, and then a layer of bolognese. And then we roll the whole thing. And you can see like the bechamel holds it together like glue. So on the bottom of the casserole, we put a really simple tomato sauce. It's just crushed San Marzano tomatoes, crushed garlic, chili flakes, throw in fresh basil, steep it, and that's it, it's done. And then we place the lasagna in here like this so it looks like cinnamon rolls. and each one we put 5 in. And then what we do is we put a little fresh Robiola cheese, which is, I don't know if you ever had this, but it's like Italian cream cheese. Really, really good. And then put it in the oven.
And that's your little tiny, tell me about that oven. What is that thing?
It's a little convection oven made by Moffett. It's called a turbofan, and it's awesome.
And it's tiny, and it just fits
Tiny,
in that space.
fits
You have
under
all
here.
these-
It holds 3 half sheet trays. And then we serve it with a little homemade focaccia that we make here in-house, just like everything else. And on top is just garlic and house-dried oregano. We dry the oregano in-house, and dried Calabrian chilies. And we just toast that on the little flat top that we have here. When it comes out, we finish it with a little bit of fresh olive oil. Like all Italians do, they finish everything with chopped parsley.
This is kind of family style. And
Right.
That's a huge portion. So I'm thinking if I'm coming here with like 3 people, 4 people, that's a share.
Well, it's huge, but it's really light because there's no ricotta cheese in it. Ricotta is what always, I think, weighs down, and the pasta's homemade, and it's rolled really thin. So it's actually 2 people, 99% of the times finish it. It's really easy for someone to just grab a piece.
Because you got the cinnamon bun portion.
Right.
I'm stealing one right here. That's so good, man. It's like everything you think about lasagna, right? It's creamy, it's crispy, it's crunchy, it's meaty. It's like in one bite, it's everything.
This is a shape called Capolace di Briganti. We definitely lean toward Italian food. Like, we're both Italian American, come from big Italian American families, so it's what we grew up eating, it's what we love to cook, it's what we love to eat. But we also, I think, are influenced by just like New York City in general.
It's like a mashup of
Yeah, it's
different stuff. I mean, we have a black sea bass with a tomatillo, like,
puttanesca.
Yeah,
So
like
it's
a pineapple
puttanesca, but we
puttanesca.
put tomatillo.
but it
instead,
tastes
yeah.
like a fish taco almost. You
Yeah.
know, like it's really good. There's no boundaries. We're just cooking whatever we really want to cook.
All right, self-explanatory. This is the scallop
Yep.
crudo thing
It's
of
our
the jigger.
scallop crudo with uni. So I have here uni that's just blended up with buttermilk and actually like a little bit of chili, lemon juice. These are scallops actually from Viking Village, New Jersey.
I know where
Yeah.
they are. Yep. Good fish.
Adding
good
a little
pork.
fleur de sel, some olive oil. This here is lemon zest. This is just scallion whites. So these I'm just gonna lay down on the plate. So now I torch them for a number of reasons. I think that like when they're super cold, they're not as flavorful. So we kind of try and temper them slightly. And we kind of temper the uni with the torch as well. These are some chili breadcrumbs, basically just breadcrumbs that we fry up with Calabrian chilies, some more lemon zest.
So you got texture and a little bit of heat.
Exactly. Scallion greens, a little bit of lemon juice, and olive oil. And that's it.
Beautiful. You're doing everything in-house here, everything.
We're doing everything
All the
here.
breads, all the pastry in this little tiny kitchen with no gas.
No gas.
We do have a really awesome sous chef slash pastry chef.
We're here with Adam, Beyonce superfan, who has the glorious job of being pastry chef slash sous chef slash pot washer slash go to the basement and do something and come back with ice cream.
Exactly.
Guy.
Yes.
But you're also up here on the hot side.
Yes, sir.
So this is, on the menu, it's described as.
The smoked short rib tartare.
Do you smoke the short ribs?
So yeah, we cold smoke it with some hickory wood. You really get the flavor of the smokiness in the raw meat.
And the kind of crust that it's on.
Yes.
You guys make because you do everything in-house.
We do everything in-house.
So what is that?
This is marble rye cracker. So a little bit of marbling technique. Here, I braid the dough and then sheet it really thin, dock it, and then bake it up. So now I'm gonna add some diced shallots, a little bit of salt, lemon juice, tomato-infused vinegar, and fresh cracked black pepper, caramelized shallot cream. Caramelize the shallots. Then we dehydrate those caramelized shallots, grind them very fine, and then add them to creme fraiche, cream, salt. Almost tastes like a French onion dip, but better, way better.
At night during service, this is your dish?
Yes, this is the one I played. Next we grab fresh horseradish and grate it on top of each piece. A little fleur de sel. More of the caramelized shallots right on top. And then finish with a little finishing olive oil and a little bit more cracked black pepper. There you have it.
Your ice cream is actually circulated in
a Cuisinart little 1.5 quart maker.
available at Macy's.
Available at Macy's.
On sale.
This is exactly from this. This is Robiola gelato.
Okay.
It's an Italian cream cheese, really delicious, really tangy. It goes with our toasted strudel. So the toasted strudel is puff pastry filled with almond cream, clementine, pineapple, and a little touch of oregano honey. Just want to heat it slightly, exactly like you would have a toaster strudel at home. On the side, I'm putting some almond streusel down. Has light brown sugar, butter, almond crumbs. Then have to have ice cream with it. So here's some Robiola gelato. Then of course, you have to finish with a little bit of finishing oil, fleur de sel.
You have this really super well curated wine list.
Yeah, it's awesome. Grant, our wine director, is amazing, and we have a really small list of, really small
Perfect.
producers.
A lot of natural
and
wines, a lot of small producers.
natural,
Poured down in Italy, and a
biodynamic
lot of
stuff.
them are natural
All
wines.
very interesting and unique.
Really delicious stuff.
Yeah, they play really well with the food.
And you know what? They're not going to break the bank. They're not expensive. You can try a couple different things, and it's fun.
Grant, man, I love wine. Big wine guy. Not like a wine snob, not a sommelier, but like every night, wine with dinner. Love great wine lists. And one of the drawbacks with little places, a lot of times there's like, you got to cut corners. So a lot of times there's like no pastry chef because there's no room for me. Who can budget for that guy? But you kind of have one. And then the wine lists are kind of like, eh. And then I'm like, all right, food's great, whatever. I'll just live with it. And I come here the first night. I'm like, what's with the wine list? It's like, great. So talk about like how you're curating this. How many total wines do you have on the list on any given night?
We have 16 wines on the list, give or take one or two. Chef Scott and Angie are doing wonderful, wonderful things with food, and it's really delicate and it's really balanced, and I think throwing a bunch of hard alcohol on that doesn't really fit into the equation.
Yeah, like have a cocktail before dinner or maybe instead of dessert. A lot of the wines that you're sourcing are like natural bio wines.
What's special about it is the humanity of it all and the connection to the earth with natural wine. You're engaging with these people. Like Frank Cornelius' wines are made by Frank Cornelius.
And he's got one, a Tim and a goat.
Right? Yeah.
Tim and a donkey up on the hills of Sicily.
Exactly.
And this is his entry-level wine that every year it changes, and it's a blend of
primarily Nerello Mescalese, and then there's 4 other grapes in it, of which I can't remember because
Changes
I've
every
never
year.
heard of them anywhere else other than in this wine. It's Cornelius' farmer wine. He tries to replicate what people have been making in Sicily to drink with dinner every night for 1,000 years.
It's got this crazy color, so it's almost like, I've seen rosés that weren't that much
Yeah,
lighter than this. So it's a red for sure. It's almost like bacon. It's almost like stewed meat, smoked meat, bacony.
It's one of those things where you almost don't want to say the word bacon to somebody before you pour it to them. Because you hear
that's all they're
bacon
gonna
and then
get.
you're like, there's just bacon in that glass. Is there anything in there other than bacon?
And it's a great, there's somebody who said for like everyday wonderful wines. This wine retails, I know, for the mid-20s. It's a totally affordable bottle of wine. And
It's incredibly affordable.
being the fact that I drink it all the time, it'll change every 5 minutes. You have
It'll
a different
change
glass
every
of
5
wine.
minutes. You get a different. At first, it's so much bacon, and then that sort of
Blows off.
It blows off. It's a really, really special wine. All of these wines are super consumable, and you just want to keep drinking more of them, which I think lends itself to sort of the dining experience here.
It's perfect.
It's all about more plates, more wine, more plates, more wine. Oh my God, the bill wasn't as much as I thought it was going to be.
All true. This is totally cool. You guys, it's totally cool. My favorite little new restaurants to open up. Husband-wife team, killing it, left the big corporate cocoon to run it on your own, and you're doing it in this space, which is just crazy. It's like a New York apartment kitchen. You got a toaster oven from home, that size KitchenAid, a little convection thing back there, and induction burners. Congratulations, team. That's so cool. So cool. Opened as Goat Town maybe 6-7 years ago, closed, reopened as Gigi's. Goat Town was slightly different, kind of, I don't say higher concept, but a little more wrought.
Yeah.
And the room felt differently. You removed a lot of kind of, I don't want to say barriers, but there were these like
room quite a
banquettes
bit,
kind of
yeah.
on this side. And now it's like this neighborhood spot that's killing. People love it.
Busier, yeah. There's a lot of people here.
And it's a crazy block because you're on 5th between A and B. And if you didn't live in New York and ride a bicycle or a car, you wouldn't know that there is no way to get to this block
Right,
except
right.
via A and B because it connects to nothing.
Right.
It's a dead
blocked.
end on both
yeah,
sides.
It's blocked on both sides. It makes it a special block, though. There's special energy, and people who live in the neighborhood know this is a special block. It makes it almost like an alley that behaves that way.
And everybody knows each other on this block.
How did the two of you guys get together with this project?
We've been friends for a while.
But I approached Bobby because He's from Staten Island, and we wanted to do something specific with pizza here, which is really more of like New York style, which meant like less focus on the artisanal aspect of pizza making and more on like what the traditional pizza of New York City looks like. And that's why we have a deck oven here, as opposed to like a wood burning or coal burning or all the other options that there are for making pizza. Nothing against that stuff, but that's what I was inspired by for pizza in this neighborhood.
When you first opened, I came, and I remember almost everything we ate came out of that oven.
Yeah.
Baked pastas, baked large format pieces of meat, pizza.
And vegetables also.
Vegetables, right, salt roast vegetables go in there.
Yep.
This is a baker's pride from what, the 80s? And you
Probably,
got it
no,
from
70s.
70s, and you got it from a nail salon in Jersey.
So Gabe and I went to New Jersey with a truck with a lift gate, a crowbar, a drill, and a few ropes and pieces of wood. We also stopped the fight, we witnessed the fight. There was like a whole bunch of crap that went down.
What town in Jersey was this?
Oh man, I don't even know. Getting it in here, we left the ceiling and the floor in this place once we did the demo.
And then built a restaurant around the oven.
Yeah. What's great about these old ovens, there's an on switch, there's a temperature control.
Period.
And that's it.
Right. Nothing breaks.
And when it does, it's just like, oh, that thing goes to that thing?
Right.
Done. If anybody needs any help, I fix pizza ovens as well.
Where'd you work in New York? Because you work in some great kitchens.
Yeah, I started in Staten Island, but when I was in New York, starting out, I went to culinary school here in upstate in CIA.
Me too, alma mater.
Left there, and then I actually started working pastry for a little while. For Jean George, he opened up a place called V. Once they found out that I went to culinary school, I was entremet, I was meat, fish. So after that, I actually went to California for about 2 years, got to see amazing, amazing things, and then had the opportunity to come back here to New York to do a tasting for Resto, which is on 29th.
Right, Murray Hill, Resto, Ryan Skeen, opening chef.
Yeah, we opened up the Cannibal, which is next door to that, and then I decided to do some traveling. When I came back, we landed at this space.
The heart and soul of the center of the menu is either round pizzas or the ones it's a grandma style.
The grandma pie takes about a day and a half to do the whole process correctly. 24-hour fermentation. There's 3 steps in proofing and 2 steps in cooking.
Black steel?
Yeah.
You see that thing? Badass. Black steel. This thing weighs a couple pounds.
Yeah. It's always seasoned. We never soap and water clean.
Right.
Just scrape it out and then wipe it out.
So how old is that baby? That was born yesterday?
Yeah, early in the morning, 24 hours. Now it's sat out, and you can see it doubled in size.
Yep.
And you're getting some air pockets in there.
Yep, we got bubbles in there.
Yeah. So this is going in here. We're not throwing it in flour. So lay it down first, get a little oil on top. You walk by that window, and you see me in here, and I'm looking down doing this. This is what I'm doing. I don't know how many of these I've made. We're just trying to get a nice, even crust, and also, more importantly, the center. We don't want dips and like holes. I'm gonna score it. You just want to hear that little tap of the metal.
Like docking the dough, kind of?
Yeah. So
Basically?
it's like if you're doing focaccia, you roll the dough.
Right.
Same thing. These holes will be gone once it rises. So now that it has risen, you can see it's pretty even. There's no part of the crust where it just like totally dips out. So tomato water on the dough, give it a little tilt so that tomato water goes back in.
And this is so you're preventing it from kind of getting that pre-baked skin even though you are baking it.
Yeah. So this now is gonna go in the oven.
Gotcha.
Once it's pre-baked, you gotta let it cool for a little while. With the mozzarella, this cheese gets a really nice caramelization on the edges. There's a good salt content. The sauce we make here comes from fresh and canned tomatoes we cook down. You wanna try not to get too much sauce dripping into the pan. Everybody's favorite, pepperoni. So again, seasoned.
Grana Padano?
Grana. And then this is gonna go in the oven. That's what you want to be able to hear, that crunch. Fresh basil, pretty generous. Finish with pecorino. That's it.
I eat so much pizza now, like all over the place, and I still come back to what we do here. The way that Bobby gets the dough and the toppings to marry. You go to a lot of places now and it's like flatbread with stuff on it. and this is not that. Every culture has a version of pizza or flatbread, but to do what happens traditionally in New York City with a slice that you can fold in half and eat like that, not every topping is gonna work that way. That's why I was inspired to work with him to do pizza here that way.
Every pizza guy has their own thing. We all share like some similar techniques. I use my fist.
Rather than hand fingers.
Yeah, so I'll go to this, so my thumb could kind of stretch out, but I'm not trying to hit the actual crust and the center. So I want it all to be pretty uniform. This is the 86. Fresh loaf mozzarella. Old place in Brooklyn. A lot of places used to get their mozzarella from there. And these are pickled peppers. They're spicy and sweet. This is some fennel. So we make like an agrodolce, which is, it's a little bit more on the sour side, and that just goes around. Spicy soppressata. Pretty thin. Putting there's a lot of toppings. It's a good meal. If you're eating this alone or you're sharing it, it's a good amount of food, but never too much. That's a little bit of oregano. This is a salt mixture with a little bit of pepper. The dough is seasoned very well, and we season everything that goes on it. So you're getting that. It's coming across.
Right, like a chef.
Yeah. This is some grana. A little for the crust and the center. We don't have a wood burning, so you're not getting the kisses of flames, but you're getting a little bit of caramelization of that cheese on the end crust.
Now, what's the temp of your oven?
Right now, it's at 550, 560. Some salt, pepper. It's gonna get finished with some arugula, a little lemon vinaigrette. Finished, pecorino. And that's it.
Beautiful. So I grew up in Philly working in kitchens. So I grew up eating collards and kale as family meal, mustard. I've always loved those things. And as Italian, I love bitter greens because I grew up, my grandparents used to eat dandelions out of the park.
Yeah.
I'm so sick of kale has just had its moment. Like I'm so sick of
It's over.
You used to have a kale dish, and I'm like, why is this so good? Talk about that dish. It was just killer good.
Simplicity. We're trying to put something out at the table that is not like overthought. So for this kale, crushed garlic. So you want to give it a good amount of oil. And with this, you just got to be careful because we're going to be throwing some vinegar into the pan.
The flames.
The flames, but also like it'll mess with the natural seasoning of the pan. So after we're done, wiped out, oiled, just to keep the life of the pan. Right when the edges start to get a little brown on the bottom, clean kale. It's going to go in the pan, seasoned, salt, pepper, and then pickling liquid onto the plate. It's going to go so quick. Little pickling liquid, and then off the flame.
And then that steam just wilts it.
Really quick. Olive oil to finish. That's it. Greek yogurt. A nice healthy dollop. And then this is some za'atar.
Which is, chef, it's described as za'atar, so people that may not know.
This one right now is heavily oregano based and sesame. It's normally what you see on pita. So once you make pita, that's sprinkled on top. Good Moroccan, Mediterranean, Israeli flavor. That's it.
I've been eating kale since I was a kid, man. I love kale, I love collards, I love all these bitter greens, and now kale's like, holy man, if I see one more kale dish on a menu, I'm gonna like shoot somebody. I mean, it's good for you, but like enough already? Did kale have its moment? Then I had this, and I'm like, holy mackerel. It's like a showstopper. It doesn't look like much. It's not the sexiest, prettiest little dish, but I'll tell you what, delicious. It's so good. Then those lamb neck meatballs, man, I mean, hello. There's be a ton of work because lamb neck's a pain in the ass to work with. Man, they're good. Where'd that idea come from?
In my past, working with huge cuts of meat, whole animals, all of it, lamb neck is
So
probably my favorite
Yeah.
underutilized meat. Now the price is really high.
I know it's crazy, right? All the stuff we'd like, Jake Dixie used to kind of give that away because no one would buy it.
Yeah.
Now it's like,
Now,
hey,
forget
now I
it.
buy like 2 lamb necks, like $60.
Underutilized cut, most flavorful. Lamb neck meatballs, braised, pulled, then ground lamb meat, mixed together, seasonings, no gluten, so no bread, no panada, nothing. Gluten-free. I had some piquillo sour cream to give it a good texture. The piquillo gives a great pepper flavor that a lot of people don't get.
Simple dish and delicious,
Yeah,
man.
yeah.
You must sell 1 million of these.
Some meatballs, nicely caramelized, a little salt, a little diaper to collect any of the excess oil. This is a piquillo pepper sour cream. Again, it's healthy. So they stay in place, and also you want a bite of the piquillo sour cream every time.
You go back and dip in that.
Parsley, some fried shallots, some olive oil.
Bingo. Dave, how are you, man?
Hi.
So, beverage director here, tell me about how you put together the list.
Well, you know, we wanted to make a neighborhood spot, so the idea behind the list is good value, approachable products, stuff people want to come in, drink on a weekday. There are a few nicer things if you're popping in on a weekend.
Tell me about this guy here.
This is a Lambrusco. It's from the Emilia-Romagna region. Great salumi, cheeses.
Yep, and for the salumi and for the cheese, it's got those bubbles, which is like perfect.
So you can see you get a little bit of that kind of pink mousse on top, but it dissipates quickly.
Like literally when they count the bubbles in a bottle, which they've done, I've read it, there's like so much less in this than there is in typical champagne, cava, whether it's Charmant or Method Champenoise.
This one you get kind of palatably very dry, but on the nose you get that burst of like really fresh, bright berry fruit. And just a touch of tannin on the
I was going to
palate.
say.
We've had this since we opened. It's a staple on our menu.
Classic. Now, I assume you guys do cocktails?
We do. I'm actually going to make a cocktail that uses this in it as well. So I'm going to make the Staten Island Sour. It's also one of our classics on the menu. It's been in here since we opened. It's a rye sour, so I'm just using Overholt rye.
Gotcha.
I like to think of New York as kind of classically a rye town, so since this is a New York cocktail. A raw sugar syrup as our simple syrup. It's basically like turbinado sugar, sugar in the raw, fresh lemon juice. A little bit of orange bitters, just a dash, gives another level of complexity to the cocktail. You wouldn't necessarily know that it's in there when you taste it, but
Somewhere
definitely
around the edges.
Yeah, exactly. Just floating the Lambrusco on top, gives you a nice visual. Just gets finished off with a flag, classic sour garnish. Let me know what you think.
To Staten Island. Kind of hard to argue with that. Yeah, it's delicious. To GG's, to clam pies. We never showed this clam pie to be made. This I've been dreaming about since the first time I had it. So freaking good. Look at that crust. Old New York style. Holds it way up. You can fold it. Casual, delicious. Not expensive. My God, this is good. Guys, shut the cameras off. Let's just eat. We're not rolling tape. We're eating. We're done. Cut. We're good. We're out. Mike Colameco's Real Food is brought to you by the continuous, generous support of the following underwriters.
Extra virgin olive oil from Colavita, an Italian family brand.
Rachel Ray's signature specialty food line, designed for preparing meals at home.